everyone, welcome to Lilybugs Library. My name's Linda, and today we're going to talk about what I've been reading over the past week or so. So I'm on a bit of a time crunch, but we're going to make this work. So the first one was actually an ARC that I got from NetGalley, so thank you to them and the author and publisher. And this one was called All My Bones, and it was good. It was about Madeline Brimley, and she inherited a bookstore in Enigma, Georgia. And so, she got it from her, I believe it was her aunt. I think it was her aunt. And although she has inherited it, she is sharing that inheritance with a friend of her aunt's who is some sort of professor, but she's also had some mental health struggles and has just got out of a mental health facility. So she's trying to, get involved with things again and get back to normal. And Madeline's best friend is Gloria, who's an Episcopal priest. And they are sitting around one day and decide to take out some frustrations by digging up a spot in the yard so they can plant some roses. And when they do that, they discover a body. So it goes from there, but it's a really cute story. The characters from Enigma, Georgia, are very quirky and fun. The addition of an Episcopal priest is kind of new and different, so I really enjoyed that. And it's also just a great cozy mystery. So I really recommend that one. I'd give it 4 out of 5. So the next one was a Christmassy one, and this one was called One Night, Two Holidays. So this one is about Jack, who plans to go home for Christmas, but he ends up getting stuck in Chicago. And Nessa is planning to, not really do much, but she does have Hanukkah coming up, and her roommates are off on their own, and she's trying to figure out kind of what to do with the holiday. And a power outage goes out, and the two of them end up joining forces and celebrating kind of Christmas and Hanukkah together. So it had lots of potential. I didn't care for it. I thought it was very much insta-love, which I don't like, and steamy when I wasn't expecting that, since again they just met each other. But so I didn't care for that one. I would give it 2 out of 5. So the next one was much more to my liking. It was called Sleigh Bells Ring. And this one I thought was really sweet. It was about this ranch manager, Annie, and she's been looking after this wealthy family's ranch. And one of them, kind of the grandfather, has passed away, and all the family decides they're going to come back to the ranch to celebrate Christmas, kind of, and sprinkle his ashes and kind of have a celebration of his life. So Annie, when she gets to the ranch, she also brings her niece and nephew because her brother's in jail, and she's looking after them over the holidays. So when the ranch owner, Tate, shows up out of the blue, she's a little worried that he's going to be upset that the kids are there. But she has a real attraction to him ever since she was younger. And at the time, of course, he wasn't really paying much attention to her, but he certainly notices her now. And so it's all about, what happens between the two of them and the two families. And I thought it was just so well done. And his family is terrific. Like, they're, how would I describe them? Almost like the Downtons, I guess. Like the yeah, can't even remember. Grantham, almost like the Grantham family in some ways, just because they're very wealthy, and Annie certainly isn't. And so it's a little bit of that sort of dynamic, but so well done. So really recommend that one. I'd give it 4 out of 5. So the next one I read was one that wasn't on my radar, but I really enjoyed it. It was called Christmas with the Queen. And so this one was really cute. It was another romance. I'm just going to bring up some information about it here because I didn't write that one down because I had already printed things out before I got to that. And I just want to remember the names of the people, which of course I won't if I don't have it in front of me. Come on, there we go. Okay, so this one takes place in December 1952 when Queen Elizabeth just starts to become the new monarch, and she's trying to figure out what she wants to say to the, well, I guess to the world, but to Britain, um, on her Christmas Day radio broadcast. So, as preparations get started, Jack Devereaux and Olive Carter find themselves, they're friends and they find themselves kind of reunited for all this. Um, she is an aspiring reporter, and so she ends up, covering the holiday celebrations at Buckingham Palace. And he is a grief-stricken widow, but he's also a chef, and he ends up somehow involved in the cooking in the royal kitchens. So when the two of them start to get together, they realize there's some sparks there that they've never really dealt with. So it was interesting to watch, and I liked the love story, but I also liked the addition of all the things about the queen and kind of her getting started in her life on the throne. And she was, more or less a similar age to what Olive is. So that was kind of neat. They didn't, go too far. Like there was no big friendship with them or anything, but, enough that the queen looked welcoming and hospitable, and at the same time, enough that you could see what Olive struggled with as she tried to be a reporter in that time period. So, anyway, really enjoyed it. Really loved the cover. I just thought it was so well done. So, that one I guess I would give a 4 out of 5 as well. So, doing pretty well with the reading. The next one I read and the last one I read was called Murder Can Confuse Your Chihuahua. So, as strange as that is. But it's actually the second in a series that I had started. It's the Haunted Craft Fair Mystery Series. And so this one, I have to say, I didn't enjoy it as well as the first one. It's about this woman, Celeste, who every time she paints something, there turns out to be this figure in the painting that actually comes to life and as a kind of as a ghost, and that ghost ends up helping her to solve a murder or a mystery. And it's cute. It's not that that sounds cute, but it is. It's a cozy mystery. And her chihuahua, I think his name is Van Gogh. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, her chihuahua is really sweet, and he helps her with all of these things as well. Excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Admittedly, it's a few hours later, but that's okay. So the last one we were talking about is Murder Can Confuse Your Chihuahua. So this was the second cozy mystery in the Haunted Craft Fair series. And as I was saying, Celeste keeps painting these pictures, and then it creates a ghost that comes out of the pictures that ends up having something to do with a murder. Usually it's someone that's going to try and help her solve the murder. So it's kind of a different sort of take on having a sidekick. She also has, sort of a boyfriend, and then there's the police detective who's also sort of a boyfriend. So, but neither one is like, she's kind of dating one, and she's kind of doesn't really know who she's cares for. So that's a little confusing, but but all in all, the it was decent. I wouldn't give it 4 stars. I'd give it 3 stars. Will I continue with the series? I don't know. I mean, if you had have asked me after the first one, I would have said absolutely. Now I'm on the fence. So we'll see. But anyway, that's what I've read this week. So it was a decent amount. And right now, what am I reading? I am just finishing up the Scrooge Conspiracy. That that's kind of a historical fiction sort of Christmas book. And I feel like I'm still, oh, and I'm reading The Sketchy Christmas Tree, which has been really cute. So, that one hasn't been bad either. So that's what's going on. Wonderful Husband and I are still trying to finish that Farseer trilogy. It's not that it's not good, it's just that we read just a few pages a night, so it takes forever. But I'm really anxious to get to the end of it because it's getting really good and I want to see how it turns out. And I'm hoping they wrap it all up nice and neat for me. But we'll see. All right, so I hope everybody has a great evening and I will talk to you again soon. All right, bye bye, friends.